I'm Abby,
And I'm Anna.
and this is Serious Beef.
Welcome.
Just want to say welcome we got a new listener.
Oh, we do. Shout out to new listener.
Listener Sarah.
Sarah just found out
We have a podcast. Hey, listener Sarah, we saw listener Sarah at Emily's, or I did, at Emily's wedding, which once again, congratulations,
Congrats to Emily.
The wedding was a blast.
Congratulations, Emily.
Oh, Ashley, our everything is here.
Is back again.
Yeah.
And someone else is here.
Special guest. Your mama. Our special guest, Olivia, is here. Olivia in the building. Okay, next, moving on.
Olivia went with me to Emily's wedding.
Indeed, I did.
And we got to see Sarah.
Did you really?
Yes.
Yep, she did.
Two little whack ass.
And they called me.
The most whack ass. Listen, Emily, it was a great wedding. I requested the electric slide, and I got some off-brand. I wouldn't. It was so off-brand. You wouldn't find that shit at Aldi. Okay, it was so bad. I did the most unenthusiastic electric slide of my life. I mean, I did it, but I was like not happy about it.
And like hitting it and then just frowning the entire. I have a video of Abby and I dancing to it.
I look way too
Snapchat.
enthusiastic.
Oh yeah, because I pinned over and I was like, hey, and I'm like, no, we hate this.
I didn't realize what you were doing.
But you did not, let's just clarify, you did not hate the wedding. You had a great time.
Oh
Yeah.
No, we loved the wedding.
Yeah, once again,
Beautiful
loved it.
weather.
Oh, Sarah goes, we get done doing the electric slide, and she goes, that was so smooth. I was like, that's my dance. That's my dance.
Abby's one dance that she could do. Well, you guys called me from the wedding. I was not there.
Yeah.
Neither was Ashley, because Ash and I,
We were at the Pink concert.
concert. It was so great. She's beyond awesome.
First
Don't
off,
even have good enough words to explain.
Anyone who doesn't know, Pink is my all-time favorite artist. So if I get a chance to go see her, I go see her.
I will go see her any
Yeah.
chance I can get. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we had gotten those tickets like well before
yeah,
we
you know
got
what concert
the
tickets
yeah,
are. They
well
come-
before
we got the
knew about the
invite,
wedding and all
it
that.
was like devastation.
So Abby was out and went to the wedding.
I was.
Your mom,
Yes.
Ashley's mom came with us, so we had a great time. But
But I
you guys
also had
called
a
me-
great time.
You called me mid concert.
Yes, because the wedding was wrapping up. We were done.
Right, and I had jokingly said I should come up there and crash, and we should give a serious beef shout out to Emily at her wedding.
And this is how Sarah finds out about the
Finds out.
podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, so you called me so that I can say congratulations, but I didn't realize that it was you.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was you because it said
Right,
it
you didn't realize
I
it
knew
was Emily.
and so I was like, I can't hear you. Listen to this, and I hold my phone up in the air so you can hear Pink, but you said you couldn't really hear. You could just all hear.
It was just
cheering,
noise,
and
yeah.
noise.
And I finally scream into the phone. I was like, "It's Emily!" And you go, "Ah!"
and then I finally could understand you. Yes. Congrats.
And then we just hear,
Woo! And there's a okay, bye.
Yep, that was it. I was like, well,
bye to concert. I gotta go.
Yeah,
They were dying.
It was a great concert.
They were dying.
It was
Wonderful
great.
concert.
The venue, on the other hand,
less than.
I've never been. You tell me this, Ashley. Maybe this is my beef. Maybe this is beef. I've never been at a concert where they sell beer like at a ball game.
I
I have never, and I was pretty mad about it because I'm like, get your tall ass out of my way. I am short, and I want to see.
Yeah,
At the Pink concert, hot dogs.
Right.
I have been to a concert where
Really?
but I think it was at the Dome.
It was the Dome, the old Rams Stadium
Thank
Yeah.
you.
in St. Louis. Yes.
Because I was at the Black Eyed Peas
Okay,
concert.
so same venue then.
And I was on the floor too for that
At the
one.
Dome. Okay.
So I don't know if it's just what they do on the floor so that people don't have to like leave their spots.
But yet they still did. I've
I-
also never been to a concert where the people constantly came and went.
Really?
Went, come and go. What do you say?
It's getting worse.
Okay, shut up.
They're in and out.
All right.
It's definitely getting worse. You know what that reminds me of a story because we were driving to Texas and we stopped at a come and go, which is KUM or come and go.
Yep.
And I was driving and I hit a really bump and we were like, oh, we're coming go too hard. And so it
We
was
did not say that. We hit a bump next time we came.
too hard. That's what we said. Sorry, fucked it. Anyway, not only do they have vendors selling beer, they have a policy of, sorry, no bottle with a lid. We're not going to hand this to you. We're going to open it up. We're going to pour it into a cup, and we're not going to put a lid on it. So everyone is spilling everything everywhere.
Yeah.
Wait, why can't you have the bottles?
Because people throwing them on stage.
I understand that, and I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is you don't put a lid on the cup. Now it's spilled. And guess who's walking up and down the aisles the entire concert? Mr. Mopper guy with a bucket and a mop. And actually, am I wrong?
No, he was walking
rolling
around.
up and down the aisles, trying to mop up the spills in the middle of a concert. Now, if you put a lid on the cup,
You get in for free.
that guy doesn't have to mop throughout the whole concert.
Yeah.
So that was weird. Then the security, they were the worst.
So it was. So you're saying it was a bad time?
No, it was an amazing time. Trust me.
Here's all the stuff that went wrong.
We have to have some kind of beef. This is the beef.
Well,
Okay.
I got beef. I got beef.
You can save it for another day. I'm telling my beef. Anyway, the security also was stupid. They typically stand by the pole with the letter. They watch their section. If something needs to be addressed, then they move into the aisle and they address the situation. They don't constantly move back and forth in front of you.
Sure.
They stand there in their spot. That's what happened.
Right.
We were just at Global Life Stadium.
Because usually
That's what they
security
did.
guys are pretty big guys.
They're tall. They weren't big, but they were tall.
Sure.
Which is a problem for me. So anyway,
She's like, either you're gonna need to stand still or get me a step stool.
anyway, then the other thing was they were walking up and down, back and forth. Did they address anything ever? No. The one guy who slammed his chair down a couple times was dancing in the aisle multiple times.
yeah.
Did they tell him to get back into the
No,
seat? No.
that
they
annoyed
did
me.
nothing.
That annoyed me.
They didn't
but
address anything.
The one thing I did get upset with was that one
Yeah.
dick.
There's
like
this giant
he
ass
was-
dick at the.
my I'm gonna call for you guys out.
This guy was well over 6 feet tall.
First off,
And he's
was-
there with a child.
Yeah, but so this man, before Pink gets on the show, the people like the section that's to the left of us,
Okay.
they were in the VIP section, so they got like little baggies and stuff like
Bags of gifts.
like
Killed somebody.
merch stuff, and so all
Plus,
of
everybody
these
did buy
all of
merch
these
stuff.
chairs are zip tied together so that they don't move.
We can't
in
slide
around.
them over and spread out and
Yeah.
give ourselves the actual room
Steal
for
it.
our asses. But, you know.
So they're all zip tied together, and this guy is sitting here. He's been vaping the entire time. Me and my mom keep seeing him like he'll pull out the vape blow, and I'm like,
And
first off,
which
not allowed
not
to do
even
that
allowed to
indoor.
do that.
No.
He's also drinking beer.
He's drinking beer.
He's kicked his beer over
He's kicked his beer over, not telling anyone
multiple times.
But he's
Okay,
doing
that's
all
good.
that. And then, like, the lady behind him has her bag sitting on the ground under the chair in front of her, like most people do, and whatnot. And I don't know what happened, but it seemed like maybe the back of, like, the handle or something was on his lower back and, like, just, like, there's a gap in the back of the chair.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and it's, like, maybe rubbing against him.
It might have touched him.
Instead of this man like turning around being like, "Hey, can you move this?" He grabs his chair like while he's sitting on it, rips it up, breaks the zip tie, turns around,
Yep.
slams it down on the ground, kicks her stuff, pushes it back towards her, and he's like, "You need to move this." And then he puts his chair back down and
Slams his
sits
chair
back
again.
down.
And sits down.
And then she's just like,
She's literally like
know.
stunned. Like,
she's just like, I don't know what just
Just
happened.
like
And me and my mom,
right.
like,
This guy flips out. Is
Yeah,
it better?
flips
Flips out over nothing.
absolutely nothing. And then, like, at one point, he puts his daughter on his shoulders.
Oh yeah, he's
getting
well
ready
over
to
6
do
feet
that.
tall, and he's gonna hold her. Thankfully, he took her right back down.
Yeah,
because I'm
and
like,
then the
I'm
entire
getting the
time,
security now.
He's
Yeah.
jumping around, and because he's jumping around, he's not paying attention.
Kicks his
He
beer
kicks
over
his beer
twice.
over.
So he was terrible, terrible. You know, there's concert goers that don't have good etiquette, and that's really frustrating. Like we had four people in front of us, and they were great. They were so great. They first come in, and the one gentleman is very tall. I think they were couples. There was two gentlemen
Yeah.
here and two women here, and they were both like they seemed like they were each couples. And he comes in. I'm like, I'm literally sitting there the whole time praying. No one tall. Please, no one tall in front of me. Please, no one tall. He's of course tall, and they kind of go in. And I'm like, hey, tall people to the end. And he goes, oh, you know, and he kind of laughed. But they were talking to us, and they were nice. And I guess his partner is quite short. And so he realizes, yeah, he actually does need to go to the end, and he lets them all shift down. So he goes, and Sam goes, welcome to the tall end, because she's kicked to the end of our line because she's the tall one. And he was super nice. He was talking to us the whole time.
Okay,
He was a
that's
real
great.
mood. Oh, yeah. And they all had their sparkly shirts on. We all had our sparkly shirts on. And at one point, Pink waves at us. Specifically,
tell me.
But specifically us. And Ash turns around and goes, Pink waved at me. And I'm like, yes, she did. And the tall guy goes, no, she waved at me.
No.
And then I said, she waved at all of us collectively. He says, no, you know what it is? It's the sparkles. I said, yes, excellent. Excellent sparkles, everyone. Because we were all sparkly, so it was great. But yeah,
I did get a lot of comments on my hair.
yeah, the hair
That
is
was-
excellent.
We'll have to post a
Definitely.
picture.
We'll post it. I got great pics. We had a great time. Ash and I love Pink. We were loving every minute of it. Yeah. So, I mean, despite the things I thought were kind of stupid about the venue, the concert, incredible.
Oh, she puts on a hell. And Sheryl Crow, first
Crow?
off. Sheryl Crow opened for her. She's what, in her late 50s?
She is 62.
Okay, she's 62. Looked like she was 40.
She doesn't age. She looks amazing. Her
Vampire.
outfit, her shoes, everything. Amazing.
Her voice sounded great.
Yep.
And it was really funny because Pink was on stage, like, doing this one thing. And she's like, isn't it great? Because the script also opened
The
for
script was
them.
great too. They were
Yeah.
so fun. Yeah.
And so Pink was like, isn't it crazy that I get to perform with people like the script and Sheryl Crow? She goes, I was in the back getting ready and I heard Sheryl Crow on stage and she's like, damn, that was a hit. Wait, that was a hit. Wait, there, she's playing another hit. Oh, wait,
Yep.
there's another one. She's like, that woman doesn't have a song, it's not a hit.
Right. It was start to finish, absolute blast.
Absolute blast.
Yeah, loved every minute. We had an absolute great time.
Well,
We
So
should probably do this.
Yes, I
before
know,
it
that's
gets
what I'm
more.
Let's do it.
okay, well, so J-Dog, we were talking about soda or whatever one day, I guess, and she brought up the strawberries and cream Dr. Pepper, which I said we had not ever had. And she was like, oh my God, you have to try it. You have to make it. Because Ashley loves Dr. Pepper.
Yes.
She's like, you have to make Ashley try it and report back. Okay, well, apparently we took too long. Because
She bought some.
she had bought some, but she said she had like a 12-pack and she was like, I cannot drink all these.
Well,
so,
I'm seeing that it's 0 sugar. So,
yes,
you know.
yeah. But so she
can't be too bad.
gave me two to try and then report back. So I have two
So
Dr.
you're
Pepper,
going to
strawberries
try.
and cream.
You're going to try them live on
the podcast.
I will say,
And
Abby
then
opened
report back.
opened one at the beginning.
Oh yeah, it
and
smells
immediately
like
smelled like
You
strawberries.
can
take the
I-
snosberries smell like snosberries. I tell
Okay,
you
excellent. I despise Dr. Pepper. I do smell the strawberry. And you're right. The strawberry is pungent.
What. Pungent.
Ooh, that's
It's not bad. It's not
Laffy
bad.
Taffy strawberry.
It's not bad.
Okay.
But I don't. I'll be honest with you. Dr. Pepper has just too
Now
many
here's the
flavors.
thing.
I don't
If
like it.
Sam, I think, likes Dr. Pepper. If this
Sam
is
does.
like a mix of like the Vest cream soda
She
and Dr.
loves
Pepper,
that. She
that
loves the
might
cream
be it.
soda.
Okay.
What's your thoughts?
I'm not really sure.
You should take another taste because one is not
a
enough.
fan of the cream.
Okay, come on.
It's interesting. It's not bad.
You're not loving it.
No.
Take a little sippy do.
That's exactly how I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Wait, what does Liv think?
Right.
Do you need?
okay.
Do you need a second taste?
Perhaps.
Let's do. Go.
If it was, I would wonder how it would taste if it wasn't the 0 sugar kind.
Well, it would be sweeter.
It's
probably.
not bad.
I do not like Dr. Pepper. So
No, I want
sorry.
you-
Sorry, J-Dog.
No,
I don't want to
you
taste
have to
it.
taste it.
I don't want to taste
It's
it.
not Dr. Pepper.
It's
strawberries
bad.
in
I
it.
don't think it tastes like Dr. Pepper.
It smells like Dr. Pepper.
I don't think it tastes like Dr.
She
Pepper.
takes one sip of Dr. Pepper and turns inside.
She's gonna kill me.
Here we go.
It's
Oh.
not great.
Sorry, J-Dog. Not a fan.
But to be fair, Anna
Gary's
does not like Dr. Pepper.
But I just don't like Dr. Pepper. And
Yeah, sorry,
It's-
J-Dog.
It's
But
it's
I also
I'm
don't
thirsty.
like. I don't like 0 sugar only because I get a funky aftertaste. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, that is exactly how I thought it would taste. Can I tell a side story about the snosberries joke?
Yeah, hit me
Okay,
with
go.
the snosberry.
So who wrote Willy Wonka first off?
Rolled down.
He has a bunch of books, right?
Yes, he does.
Yep.
And not all of them are kids' books.
No, not all of them.
So, did you know that Snosberries was snuck in from a different Roald Dahl book, which means what we've been talking about, like the come and go stuff. A Snosberry is like when men ejaculate. There you go.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
That's literally what it means. What?
Whoa, full circle.
So when they had people
Whoa.
like licking the thing, that was their like way to like insert an adult joke without doing it.
Well, who was it
Is
for?
it in
Because
the
it would
book? Is it
everyone
in the
missed
book?
it.
I've read this book several
It's not
times.
in it's not in Willy Wonka.
It's in the movies.
It's in the movies, but the movies pulled
Right.
it from a
A
different Roald Dahl
like an
book.
adult Roald Dahl book.
Yeah.
What interesting. Where's Mayor? We need to fact check this.
Roald Dahl's novel My Uncle Oswald is a character who uses the word snozberry as a euphemism. So there's your there
you go.
it is in the Roald Dahl book.
My brain only went there because we're doing all the come and go jokes, so
that's
that
all
popped
right.
into my
Yes,
head.
there's a whole story in it. We all giggle at the Wonkas of snozberries because it was
It's like snozberries.
that's hilarious. I actually did not know that, so that's funny.
Okay,
Leftover for
in
another day.
honor of listener Sarah, who is now a new listener, she is a part of a group that we lovingly refer to as the Design Bitches.
Great group of people.
Great group of people. It is our group of 7 or so friends who were all graphic design majors down in Carbondale,
Okay.
which is where both Ashley and I got our graphic design degrees. And so Emily is one of the design bitches, as is Sarah. Listener Listener Taylor is also a part of that. Listener Jack, who is the representation for Listener Gertie.
Listen, Gertie, yeah.
Listener Jack is also a design bitch.
A design bitch, yes. Excellent.
But yep, so
We love all the design bitches.
in honor of the design bitches, I figured we could tell some funny Carbondale stories because not only did Ashley and I go to Carbondale,
Fun fact, I also graduated from Carbondale.
Also,
SIU Carbondale.
SIU Carbondale.
Specific.
also another fun fact. Today is the anniversary of Abby and I moving in together in Carbondale.
Yeah, 8 years ago.
I saw it on Facebook because that was the day that I was so sad because we loaded up the van and Liv is in with the van with me and we're kind of caravanning Grandpa's truck and Dad's truck and we're all taking everything down there.
I was celebrating.
And we get in the car and I start crying and Liv's like, "What's the matter with you?" And I literally said, it just dawned on me that I was moving you out and that you would not be moving back in.
Yeah.
And then I cried because the other times we took her to college, you know, she came back home for the summer or whatever. And I was like, oh no, she's moving out, and then you guys are gonna get married, and you know, I was like, so anyway, what's your story you want to tell about?
Well, I got a couple.
Okay. All right, go for it.
I feel like we didn't make a note that there's only one cougar.
It's true. We have 3 Salukis and 1 Cougar. Olivia is a Cougar.
SIU.
SIUE, and Sam as well. So we
Because
have
we have class.
To be fair, I did 1 semester.
yes, but didn't get the degree
But
from
you're
SIU.
not
You got it
pure.
from Carbondale. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Listen, yeah, but I was briefly a cougar.
You were briefly a Cougar.
And then I snatched that up.
Right.
Anyway, point is,
Okay.
one of my favorites is we had a really big project due, the design bitches, because we were pretty much taking all the same classes, right?
Sure, yeah.
And we had a big project due on a Wednesday or something like that. And so afterwards, we all were kind of like, hey, we're caught up on stuff. Do you guys want to walk literally across the street to, I think it was the Underground. And so we go across the way to that bar because they were doing happy hour.
Mm-hmm.
So we walk over there and got a bunch of beers and whatnot. We all get super drunk. And then
Is that when they were selling the buckets?
No, that's a completely different
okay,
one.
But,
Oh,
so
fuck
everybody,
buckets.
everybody gets drunk.
Everybody gets super drunk, and then we're like, well, shit, we all have to drive home. Right, well, now we can't drive.
Right.
So we walk back to the studio, and because we have to wait to sober up.
Sure.
And so, in an effort to sober up, we decided we were going to do a powdered sugar donut challenge. Because you could pay $1 or $1.25 to the vending machine, and you get a pack of 6 powdered sugar donuts.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, well,
Man,
we
we
all
lived off of those vending machines.
we
every
really
day.
did. They were not good. And so we all, me and Tay and Sarah, and I think I don't know if Emily was there for this part or not. Point is, we all get our donuts, and somebody hits the timer because the challenge is that you're not supposed to take a drink.
You have to eat the whole
All
pack
6
without taking a drink.
and it was whoever could get it done fastest.
Oh my god.
Well, they're all also drunk.
Already
While
drunk.
you're drunk, how did you not choke to death? Wow.
How'd you
Okay.
not throw up?
Right.
But we didn't throw up, but there was bowlful
Well, yeah,
powder.
powder, and a little bit of donut. I'm sure.
I think Tay
flying.
won. I think Tay won.
Wow. Okay.
And then I think poor Sarah lost.
Oh, I figured Jack would win. That's funny. Okay.
Oh, Jack was not there for
Oh,
this,
no,
unfortunately.
shame,
No.
shame.
So we are scarfing down these.
Carving down the donuts as fast as you can.
Well,
Wow.
that whole night was just hilarious because we had gone over to the bar or whatever, and you guys know this, that I just like, I drink really quickly. It's not even like an intentional thing.
Yeah.
I just am like, if I have a drink there, whatever it is, it doesn't matter if it's beer or water or whatever, I just drink it really quickly.
Yeah.
And so I'm like drinking this beer or whatever, and it's like super cheap pitchers or whatever, so who cares? Unbeknownst to me, like Sarah's next to me, and she has been trying to go drink for drink with me the whole time.
That was her first mistake.
She gets
Yes.
about 2.5 or 3 beers in, and she's like, "How are you doing this?" And I was like, "I'm so sorry.
Oh
like,
my God.
listen, you must pace yourself."
Yeah. And does she know that you also don't have hangovers?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I'm sure she had a hangover. I bet.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
I think,
most of us
I
aren't
think
blessed.
that time's getting smaller and smaller. You're now over
I-
the age of 30.
It's true.
Oh,
I'm
I-
waiting for
I had to
it.
brush. I had to brush with death at Chicago when we went for my birthday. That I woke up and I was like, I don't feel well.
Oh no! Oh no! Her
No,
first
I'm okay.
hangover.
I'm
oh,
okay.
and she
And
was
one-
okay.
No,
I was
but
just
feel
really,
like
really
if she-
tired. But I
she's
was
like, she's walking that line of.
oh yeah, no, I had to brush with death. And I was like,
Did you remember to drink lots of water before you went to bed?
nope. So I
See, there's
I
your mistake.
no, I rarely do.
Oh, I always drink water.
I
She-
usually
she doesn't have to.
sometimes I'll take.
I drink a beer, and if I don't drink water before I go to
yeah, I
bed,
feel terrible.
I'm gonna feel
Yeah.
hungover in the morning.
As long as I drink a couple of glasses of water, then I don't have hangover.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm walking a fine line, so I have been trying to take it easy. I'm not trying to. But so that's one of my Carbondale stories. What do you
Okay.
got? What do you guys
When you
got?
started saying you had a near-death experience, I thought you were about to randomly start talking about the actual near-death experience on the way to Emily's Way.
It was not a near-death
Why are
experience.
we talking about?
Well,
Because I said my T-boning a small Kia wouldn't have killed us.
I was making a left out of the gas station, and we had stopped on the halfway point, and I didn't see a semi on the left. And Olivia goes, "Girl, girl, girl." And she goes, I realize, and I stop, and it wasn't close at all. Like, cause I just kind of started rolling, and I go, "Oh yeah, there was semi."
Oh yeah, it was very casual. Yeah.
But she goes later as we are driving, she's like, "Sorry, I should have said like stop, brake. There's a semi about to kill us." And I was like, no.
Sometimes your brain only gets stuck on
Right.
Well, I said no. Girl is universal.
right.
I knew what she meant.
Yeah. Especially the way she's thinking. Absolutely.
So,
Well, I
but
will tell you that when
yeah.
I was down at Carbondale, those were the days of the big Halloween party. And
they
They
know
banned them.
they
Oh,
now have
because-
unofficial Halloween.
do you know
Yeah.
why they when we were there, wow, so much fun. Oh my gosh. Just crazy fun times. Our friends would always come down to visit us, and we had a lot of blasts. We had a lot of fun. And the problem was it wasn't the students. People would come from all over
Yeah.
who weren't going to school there. And of course, then things got violent and property started getting destroyed. And it just, it was those people who ruined the fun for those of us who went to school there.
Well, because now they had unofficial.
Right.
So,
Which is
but
like what, a week before?
week before, but the school still plans it because everyone knows it's the same thing.
Of course.
But this didn't happen at Carbondale, but I went to WIU before I went to Carbondale.
Was that Western Illinois?
Western Illinois University.
Okay.
And they had a similar thing called the Wheeler Block Party.
Okay.
So there was a block called
Sure.
Wheeler, and like it
There was
was
a party.
every year. If you lived on Wheeler, you were throwing a house party on that weekend, and that whole block would just be filled with students
Sure.
and kids and
Sure.
people from all over came. Well, my freshman year was the last year Wheeler Block
Oh,
Party
okay.
was a thing
Okay.
because they had SWAT called.
Oh my God.
They were tear gassing the crowd.
oh.
They set a bicycle and a stop sign on fire, full
So
of
it
metal
was, that
things.
was definitely out of hand.
Yeah. And people were standing on roofs and
wow.
stuff. And it was like, because you drink from 9 a.m.
Oh, yeah,
to
you drink all-
like 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, so by the time it comes to like nighttime, people are blitzed.
Oh,
and
yeah.
just,
But
it
then-
was
but,
insane.
the thing is, we were drunk too, but we didn't set shit on fire. So that's what's frustrating. You always have that handful of people that ruin it for everybody. But
Yeah.
we lived in this apartment, the strip, where the party was actually. We lived, you had to go down and take a left, and there was the street. So we just walked, down there.
Yeah.
And they also had stuff kind of along that street too. So there was all kinds of different vendors and just different things and whatever. And I had a beer, and we leave the apartment. I live with my brother Dan, actually, and our friends had come down, and they were staying with us. Because this is my junior year in college. And he says, you can't take that beer with you. And I'm like, why? I'm going to a party outside on the street, and they're going to be selling beer.
Right.
Why can't I take this with me? And he's like, you can't just walk on the street outside with open alcohol. And I'm like, what? I had no idea. This is my young, naive self that I was.
Okay.
So, of course,
I had not. Okay.
I'm like, no.
I know. Hold on a minute.
That's why
Is
people
that
have
a real
paper
thing?
black
That is a
bags.
real thing.
You know, and like
I just
they're
thought it was frowned upon.
You can. It's against the law.
It's against the
to
law.
walk with open alcohol and drink.
Well, in
here's the
Missouri,
thing,
that's not.
There's
That's not
right
true.
because there's open container states, which is that you could say be driving and have an open beer in the
Yeah,
car.
that's-
Illinois is
that's
not an open
Missouri.
container state.
Missouri is what
Missouri
it is.
is, which doesn't surprise me. But anyway,
God's country.
so we leave the. I'm like, no, that's some BS. I'm going to a party that's going to sell beer. I can take this beer with me. I leave the house. We leave the apartment. Legit. Legit. The only time I've been pulled over for drinking was I was fucking walking. Okay. And
you were what?
and I was obvious about it. I didn't care. I had a beer can or whatever. And
Not even
cop
in a-
pulls up.
not
whoop,
even in a
does the
koozie.
thing. No, I didn't even. Well, that's another story. But anyway,
What do
he
you
gets
mean?
all the
Well,
card,
wait a minute.
and he's like, "Why do you have? Why are you walking with this open beer?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm heading up to the party, And he's like, "You can't walk and drink alcohol." And I'm like, "I actually can. I'm not drunk yet. I can do it." And he's like, "No, you're not allowed to." And so,
You did not say that.
yes, I did. And
He
so,
goes, are you sure?
and I literally looked at him. I was so stupid. I was so young, and I was like, "Really?" And Dan's like, "I told you." And and the guy's like, "It's against the law." He's like, "You got to pour it out." I'm like, "Really?"
Chub.
And so I told him, I said, "I'm a poor college student. I can't just pour it out. Can I drink it?" He's like, "All right, just drink it really fast." And I was like, first
And then the cop,
we're literally
chug,
just we're just kind of passing it around, or I'm drinking it. And
the cop?
So I got pulled over for walking with a beer. Yeah, so that was one funny
Okay,
story.
hold on. What the hell is a koozie?
Same story. We're walking up to the same day. Everything. We're walking up to the party. Okay, up to the street.
Okay.
And like I said, along the street we lived on, when you get closer to the corner, they had some people, vendors, and all kinds of different things along that street. And there was a guy that was selling all kinds of like Carbondale merch, Halloween merch.
Okay.
And he had a bunch of can koozies. And my friend Karen's like, "Man, I really want one of those can koozies." And I was like, "Okay." And I reached up in his display thing and I popped it off and I gave it to her.
5 feet.
He's selling them.
I know. We just like walked away and my brother's like, "You just stole that." And I'm like, "Oh, you have to buy it?" Like, I was just like giving it out.
It's like I knew it.
And I knew she stole
I
that.
did an inventory count.
An inventory?
Inventory.
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 I don't know if that fuck I was pronounced.
It's the same word. You know what I mean.
No one pronounced it.
No one knew what you meant.
It's an I did an inventory count.
Inventory.
But anyway, we always dressed up too. Like one year, my friend Karen was in town and we did the salt and pepper shaker costume. Then
Trash bags.
Trash bags. We were poor. One year we
were poor.
We just got poster board and string, and we had a poster board on the front of us and the poster board on the back of us, and you had to string it. And we were a deck of cards, like we were like a large stray or something.
Oh,
We were
okay.
each a different card in the string. Yeah, so that because it was easy and again cheap, so that's what you got to do
That reminds
when
me
you're in college. So
of when I had to get my costume ready for Halloween party. I think it was maybe my sophomore year.
mm-hmm.
And I started to be Aang from Avatar.
Oh, I've seen this picture.
Aang from Avatar, yeah.
But I was like, I'm gonna look for like a staff or something to go with my outfit.
Okay.
So shout out to my friends Skylar and Becca that went with me to the SAOE garden to go look for a big stick to be my staff.
Okay.
So we go through like the one entry by the parking lot, and we find like a huge stick pile. So we're like, perfect. And I'm like, stick pile, boom. Turns out.
Did you jump in it?
What? No.
What's the boom?
That's what I'm getting to.
Oh.
You cut me off.
What's plastic ball? Boom.
Yeah.
Go
Turns
ahead.
out you shouldn't run on the grassy area in front of the pile the day after It rains. So there's a nice slick mud patch that I slipped through. And a nice little picture of a mud streak in the grass of my imprint of my leg when I went down. And then all up my pants.
You're covered in mud.
And I drove.
Oh,
So I
shit.
get back in the car.
Did you have something to
With
cover your seat?
I don't know. I don't remember. But I don't remember.
Did you get your staff?
Yeah.
Was it worth
Thank God.
Was
it worth it?
So what was it? Stick, stick, boom.
Sticks.
Boom.
She goes, you gotta be careful when you're walking on the grassy area. Field mines? Like land mines?
Right. Was there a hole? What happened?
Go for
More
it.
of like, oh my gosh, a stick pile. And then the next thing I knew, I was looking at the sky.
She's on her ass. Eating shit. That's hilarious. Well, I will tell you that Halloween was my last Halloween. Was the last Halloween, my junior year. We got up to the street, and everybody's, having a good time, music's playing, and then all of a sudden it starts getting violent, and you're getting shoved around and knocked down, and
Boo.
we were like, and then we were all just like, we gotta go, we gotta get out of here. And sure enough, the police were called, and it got ugly, and we gotta get out of here. We got out of there. And went back to the apartment.
This is all over. Somebody stole a koozie.
Oh no!
They ignore the
I was
fight.
the instigator.
They ignore the fights. Lady, you can't be walking around here with that open
We got a variety straight.
Okay, well, real quick, secret sauce. Talk
Okay.
about drinking.
Okay,
The secret sauce is cocktail sauce.
What?
which you don't drink. You dip your
No.
shrimp in.
Absolutely. A cocktail is a type of drink, though.
I get it. And I get the reference or the leap there. I understand it.
We also went with that because Olivia really likes the little shrimpies.
the little shrimp.
So what?
But she doesn't dip them in cocktail sauce. so
No,
it's kind of
neither
funny.
do I. I like the shrimp too.
I like the cocktail sauce. I think it's delicious.
I like the
Now I will tell you that one Halloween, my brother Dan was living in remember the towers. They're no longer there. He was living over there.
Oh, were they? They were still there when I
No,
was there.
they were there when you were there, but they just tore them down.
And
Not
they
so
just
long
found
ago.
not so long ago. And friends obviously were in town and stayed with him, and he had this case of beer, of course, in his dorm,
Okay.
and they drank, some beer, of course. Then one of them got this bright idea to fill one of the bottles back up and get the cap back on. So they drank it, but they filled it back up with water,
Okay.
and they got the cap back on successfully, apparently. And they left, Halloween's over, they go back to their colleges or whatever. And like the next day, he opens up this beer and he drinks it and it's water. And he's furious.
Who is this? Dan?
Your
or
Uncle Dan.
I knew it.
He's so mad that he writes a strongly worded letter
You've told me this
to
story.
the Anheuser-Busch company that there was a bottle of water included in his case of beer, which I don't even know if he was 21 at the time. So he writes this letter. They send him back an apology, and he gets a free case of beer out of it. And his friends are the one that filled it up with water. And so he tells them, he's like, you guys are gonna believe this. There was a bottle of water in my case, and I wrote to the Anheuser-Busch, and they sent me a free case of beer. And of course, they lose it because they're like, that was us.
Hey,
You got a free case of beer out of that.
sometimes you just gotta write an angry letter
Yep,
to get a free case of beer.
Sometimes you need to write that strongly worded letter. So that's one of my favorite stories
Cashier
from
JCPenney.
down there in Carbondale. Anyway,
But
I have one more college story if you want to hear it.
okay.
My last year there, I lived in the over 21 dorms.
Okay.
And I was on the bottom floor, which happened to be like the handicap floor. Like there was handicap rooms down there as well. Okay, so at either end of the hallway were these nice bigger rooms, bigger doors for handicapped people to fit in wheelchairs and what could fit through them.
Right.
So, two guys in wheelchairs lived at either end, actually. And they're both really nice. It was really cool. We all got along. And the one guy tells us the story because we didn't ask him because they were both paralyzed from the waist down.
Okay.
But the one guy volunteered his story.
Okay.
One night, we're all just sitting around, and he volunteers his story. He's driving this van,
Okay.
and he gets in a terrible accident.
Oh.
And he flips it over, and he is stuck hanging upside down. And he has a cassette tape in the tape player, and it gets stuck on the same song that plays over and over. It wasn't that. It was like a rock song. It was like it played over and over and over again, and he was stuck like that for a long time. till somebody, because there's no cell phone, there's no nothing like that, till somebody finally found him. It was, and so I can't, and it kills me that I cannot remember the name of the song, but he literally tells us, whatever you do, don't play that song. And we're like, okay, we won't tell. And he laughed about it. He was like, I was stuck there upside down with that song playing over and over and over again. But he ends the story with, whatever you do, don't play that song.
That's hilarious.
And it kills me because I cannot remember what the song is. But yeah, and he laughed, so of course we all laughed. But yeah, it was, how wild is
you
that?
gotta have a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
Okay, I got another funny story. So down in Carbondale, the design majors, you could be a part of what's called AIGA, which is like an association for graphic designers. So AIGA would organize like design days. We'd all like pile in the car and we'd drive up to like say St. Louis, and they would have a design whatever over the weekend.
Design week.
Thank God for Ashley. Go on.
Right. Well, so you had to pay to be a member. You had to pay like somewhere between $50 and $100 to be a member of this association.
No, it was $20. $20.
No, it wasn't.
It was $20
No, it
when I was
wasn't.
in school.
Well, it is more now. AIGA membership
Google it. She's gonna Google it.
cost
$50 per year.
You know what it was? It was probably $25 for students.
Because I'm like,
And that makes sense. And that makes sense.
That was
That
too
would be
many.
a student. That would be a student
it's
membership.
too much.
because I had to pay.
I thought that
and you're a
I-
student, so who's got $25?
Here's the thing. Either way, I wasn't happy about it, and so I was like, I'm not paying that. I'm not gonna pay for that. Why would I pay for this?
Right.
I
Okay.
refuse to pay to be in this.
Okay.
But I go to all the meetings.
Sure.
And then they're like, okay, we're going up to whatever. We're going to, design days.
week.
Yeah, and they're like, you had, so if you're a member, you didn't have to pay for your ticket. They just gave tickets or whatever
Okay.
kind of thing. And then they would count heads or whatever, and then they're like, we're going to get those tickets. And then they're like, well, just make sure that you have your membership thing all paid up or whatever.
Abby does not pay.
I never fucking pay. I get my ticket. I get in the car. I go.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't ever pay once.
Okay.
Not once do I pay to be an AIGA. All right.
But
cut
everyone
to,
thinks that she has. She
no,
does.
it was a well-known secret. It was
among your closest
friends,
friends.
yes.
Probably design bitches. knew,
oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
They all knew I refused to pay to be an
On
AIGA.
principle.
Now, they probably have forgotten in the 6 years since we've now graduated, but
Now
they,
it's out.
Yeah, but they knew then.
Okay.
And so cut to my senior year, and the officers or whatever have graduated.
Okay.
And so they need officers to be. And there was this girl that we did not like, who is not affectionately known as Crone Dog, which does not give away anything about her.
And
So
she was not part of the design bitches. I'm
no, she was
guessing?
not.
Okay.
And we didn't like her. And we're like, God damn it, she is going to go and she's going to join the stupid officers and she's going to run the whole thing and she's going to probably make me pay my membership.
Right. She's gonna ruin it. She's gonna ruin it for everybody.
She's going to ruin it.
Yeah.
And so I convinced Taylor, which is hilarious, that we should go and we should go do this.
You should run on a ticket. That's what did you convince her?
I convinced her because there was no running. You would
Okay,
just
so
go to a
you
meeting
just said,
and you would say,
"I'll do
I
it."
will do this. And it was like, the eyes have it. And the
Oh.
eyes are everybody else who
Certainly.
showed up to this meeting,
Certainly. Okay.
which is like all 8 of us. And so I already knew I had to plan. I was like, I'm not going to be president because that's too much pressure. That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
Well, so they say president, whatever. And there was a debate. It was highly debated over who should actually be the president. And I don't believe Crone Dog wanted it, but didn't get it. We voted her
So
out.
she
me and
Okay.
Tay voted against her. We voted for somebody else, and I forget who ended up getting the job, but we
But
were
it was
fine with
somebody
it.
that was cool. Okay, cool.
Right. And then they go, okay, now we'll need a vice president, and I raised my hand,
Absolutely.
and no one else raised their hand, and so I got it by default.
That's
Best
the
way
be-
to win.
That's the best job.
It's the best job.
If you ever have to volunteer for any kind of leadership position,
vice president.
Now,
Because-
first of all, rule number 1 is never volunteer.
vote.
But if you have to, vice president. That's the position.
Because the president takes care of everything.
pretty much.
Okay, the vice president is there to step in the event
Yep.
that the president is not there.
Exactly.
Okay, I had one thing. I had to run one meeting.
Me too. I had the same thing. I was
Easy.
Same similar
I had to
situation.
run
That's
one
funny.
meeting, and poor Taylor, she got stuck doing the treasury job.
Oh no, that's a terrible job.
That's the
No, no,
worst
no.
job. Now here's the thing, though, because now my best friend Taylor is the treasurer. I'm never paying my dues.
She works happiest paid.
Vice president of AIGA, never paid a single thing to AIGA.
It's a scam.
It's a Ponzi scheme. It's a scam. It's a Ponzi scheme. It is. It is a scam.
Listen to this.
I never once paid. And do you know that the workshop that I ran was where to get like free design resources online? That was the thing that I ran was like, hey, here's where you get all these free fonts. Here's where you get all these free resources. Because it's like, I'm lazy and I'm not paying. So here you go.
Yeah.
That was my whole workshop. So that
That's
was
fantastic.
That was my whole thing.
I get you, and I agree with you. I had to do the Mothers Club thing. I volunteer, vice president. Had to do my turn. I'm like, vice president. Had to run one meeting. That was it.
Easy.
Sweet gig. Yeah.
I got. Oh, you know what? I just remembered. Listener Emily will get a kick out of this, or
Okay.
she'll be traumatized and have a flashback. Who
Uh-oh.
can say? But we had to take a design history course. Okay? So they hired this woman who I guess had previously taught this course before.
Okay.
But unbeknownst to this one, or probably beknownst, but she just didn't pay attention to this woman. At the time when she had the job, there was graphic design history and was industrial design history. There were two separate
And
courses.
she was supposed to teach both or not?
Well, at the time
Oh,
there
I
were
see.
two.
They
when
were
she was,
separate.
and then by the time she gets the job now, they've combined these into one course.
Which is not smart anyway.
no,
Why
it
do
didn't
that?
make any sense.
Because why would an
whatsoever.
industrial design major want to learn about graphic design? They
Why-
should just be
right.
right. Why would
Why
you
do I
wanna learn
need to know
industrial?
about the history of chairs? I don't.
That's not a. Well, you know, we're
So-
talking about Carbondale here.
So she, first of all, she teaches 3/4 of the semester all industrial design, and finally, I don't know if it was me or Tay or somebody emails her like, question, when are you going to get to graphic design? And we didn't hear back from her for a while. Then we find out later that that is when she realized that she was supposed to be also teaching graphic design.
Oh my
so the
God.
last back end of the thing was graphic design. So here's the thing, it was entirely a virtual class. Now imagine like when you're in college, you might meet 3 times a week for like an hour, right?
Yep.
She would put no less than 2 to 3 lectures up online a week. Each one was 3 hours.
Oh my God.
So you're looking at 6 to 9 hours of material that we're in theory supposed to be listening to each week. And secondly, it's all industrial design. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, no, that applies.
So we had.
Yeah, you want me to jump ship from a class real
Yeah,
quickly?
real quick.
That.
So I
But
needed
you got to
to
take
graduate.
it. You need the
So
credit. Yeah.
there were 4 tests. There was like test, midterm, test, final.
Okay.
And I think it was the midterm. We basically are like, this is what we're gonna do. You get the section, you get a section, you get a section, because we didn't have time to like be
That's
doing
too much,
listening to this throughout the semester.
Okay.
And it was like, you're going to go through all 15 hours of your material, and then you're going to teach it to us, and whatnot.
And you
And
all took turns with it.
so that's what the plan was for the first time.
Okay.
And it didn't work because the only time I could go in to take the test was like 8 a.m. like Monday morning, the first thing. We weren't going to have time to get together. So I taught myself everything.
Oh my God.
And then I go in and I take this test and I'm like dead tired because if you recall, I was staying up till like 3 in the morning and then getting up at like 6, 7 to go to work for that whole year. And so I take the test, I come back to the studio and everybody's like, okay, Abby, what's on the test? What's on the test? And I was literally like, gather around. I'm going to say this one time. And then I proceeded to, like, it was like a Michael Jordan with the flu. I listed every question and every answer. And then there were 2 essay questions. There was this one, there's
She
this
was
one.
just out of her mind.
I listed the whole thing. They're all sitting there like, I remember Kat is there and Tay, and they're like frantically writing notes. And I was like, I don't remember what this one was, but the answer is B. And then it was like, there's this thing about these, you're going to have like an hour worth of material on these like 2 people and they do all this chair stuff. None of it matters. She asked how many children they have. They have 7.
Oh my
Next.
God.
And that was like, so I go through and they're like, okay, is there anything else? I go, nope. I went home and I slept for like 3 hours. But then later, we pulled it off later. That was,
gotcha.
we all taught each other the material, but we were so pissed off. And so Emily writes a review because you could write a review about your professors on whatever the website was. And so she writes this review up and she reads it to us. And I don't remember, I wish I could find it or I had a screenshot. I just remembered that she ended it. Like she ripped her new one.
Right.
Terrible teacher, blah, 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 all this stuff. Ends it with, evil woman.
Oh
So then,
no!
listener Emily, who just got married, I wish I had
A
that review.
screenshot of that review.
I mean,
but excellent.
SIU had
Excellent.
its fair share of terrible teachers.
It
My
did.
though.
God.
It had some really good
The
teachers.
years you
It had
were
some
there,
really terrible
Honestly,
teachers.
majority teacher you guys talked about, I'm like, I would ask for my money back.
Oh, I did for one class. I'm not gonna name him, but rhymes with Farron. He was the worst teacher I ever had.
I seconded.
Yeah, because you had him after I did. Worst teacher I ever had because literally he built this whole entire class around making a board game.
Oh,
Which is
I
very
remember
fun.
this class.
Which
Yes.
is fun.
Very
Yes.
fun.
Yes.
But it's not only just making a board game, so like designing it, play testing it, all that
Sure.
kind of stuff. He also wanted us to put it on Kickstarter, which I'm like, fine, you can do an outline on like how you would launch it, all this
Sure.
kind of stuff on
Right.
Kickstarter, but you shouldn't have to actually put it on Kickstarter.
You
No,
absolutely not.
we had to run it, like to get our grade, you had to run it for at least 2 weeks on Kickstarter.
Now here's the thing. So Kickstarter, obviously, you put it up there, and if people like your idea, they can give you money, and if you meet that goal, you must move forward.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: if you don't follow through, you are banned forever.
From
You
Kickstarter.
may never launch
Right.
anything on Kickstarter again.
We had to
that's
do it
nonsense.
because it was like, if you did raise the money, which he's had students who did raise the money and their game did get like successfully backed, you then have to pay to make an LLC. You then have
Yeah.
to pay to get a PO
You
box.
have to-
You have to have
follow
like
through.
follow through with all these things, and you are now running a small business.
And you're trying to go to school.
And
at
you're
the same
trying to
time.
finish school.
Yeah.
And it's,
So,
it's
like-
not even a thing that you want to do.
Right.
So all of us, I was like, I don't want this to succeed. I really don't. So I put super sky high numbers to be like the only way for this to succeed if you do this. And he like had the audacity to be like, well, those numbers don't make sense. Like that, you completely miscalculated. I was like, yeah, because I don't want this to succeed.
Yeah, I don't have time for this.
Like
Right.
I'm just trying to get my degree. I was like, and the other thing is like he didn't tell us how to launch Kickstarter. He didn't show us how to launch
Oh my
Kickstarter.
God.
He
This
didn't
guy was
show
really-
us. He didn't show us
What
how
a
to put like how
jackass.
to like do like set up play testing, how to contact. Like the thing is
You
with
just had to figure
Kickstarter
it
because
on
he
your
was
own.
like. Because you had to find your distributors. He didn't know. He didn't tell us where to go for that.
Oh
You
my
had to
God.
find pricing for like where to get pricing to get these things printed. Didn't give us an idea on where to go
Well, and
do
here's
that.
the thing is that he was really big on like, because you would say like, well, you know, you have what are you, you know, basically what are you good for? You're not teaching us anything.
He's
And
like, I believe in you guys teaching
yourselves.
And I literally, he said that to our class because our class ripped him a
his class.
new one.
Yeah.
Well,
Ashley's
you
class.
should be.
My
because
class.
I'm paying you to
Well,
teach
that
me.
was it. In our review, like at the end, he's like, this is what he stopped doing. Have the class give him a verbal review of how the class
He
was.
didn't do that when we went through it.
Because we spent the entire 3.5 hours of our class period telling him how terrible he was at his job the entire
Yeah,
time.
he
because
was terrible at his job.
He said, because he was like, well, when I brought up the response, I was like, I asked you these questions and you weren't able to give me answers. He's like, well, that's part of the learning. You have to find it out on your own. I was like, no. I'm paying thousands of dollars to go to the school. You're going to tell me what I need
supposed
to
to
do.
tell me how to do
You're
this.
supposed to teach me,
Yeah.
not me Google. Because I'm like, if that's the case, then I want a refund on this class because I'm teaching myself all
Why
this
would I
stuff.
pay you to
I was
teach
like,
me
I
if I
am
had to
going
figure
on
it out?
Google and searching it myself. And then also, like, you give him like 15 reviews and he would just sit there and be like, okay, everything's great. Final review comes, he goes, actually, this, and this is all his problem. And I'm like, well, why didn't you say anything before? Fair.
Well, so our thing was, I had the same teacher.
I remember you
and,
both had
and
this teacher, yes.
Emily and Sarah and Tay were all in this class with me, and we had a different project. He had like a guy
I
who had a
remember
product.
this.
Yes, and we were in
Yes.
teams, and we were supposed to design the packaging and then come up with like the marketing strategy. I wasn't opposed to the project.
Right.
I was opposed to how he went about it because it was the same thing.
Because
he
he didn't teach you how to do it.
us how to
Okay.
do anything.
Nice.
So, we go through and he's like talking to us throughout the whole project. And then at the very end of the semester, we're going to get up in front of this guy, okay, who's like an older gentleman.
Right.
But
But you're actually doing something for him.
Yes.
He wants you to design something
Yes.
for him. Yeah.
And so we had met multiple groups that were going to present this whole, had multiple different, strategies and things like that. And so we get up and we present and we're like, okay, like we're thinking that we're going to run this many ads on Facebook and this much based on an estimated blah, 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 click-through rate. We do all this stuff. Okay. Farron proceeds to interrupt us consistently throughout the entire, not just our group, everybody's group presentation to tell us all the things that we were doing wrong.
What an ass.
And so we're like, now here's the thing.
In front of this gentleman, which is so uncool.
Right. And so apologies to Emily and Sarah because I'm outing you on this. I think Sarah's group went first. We get a Snapchat, they get done, she's like, okay, I'm gonna go, like, because people would get up and leave and go get a drink or whatever and come back in. She goes out to her car, we get a Snapchat of her crying in her car.
Oh no, we are gonna trigger these.
Everything. She goes, it's fine.
We are gonna trigger these poor ladies. We're sorry, ladies.
Emily was in my group, and we're standing up at the front, and she like leans over to me, and she goes, "I'm literally about to cry," and I was like, "Do not let them see you cry."
Nope.
I was like, "Absolutely not," because
She's
I'm
my daughter.
furious.
She's my daughter.
I'm furious.
Don't let him see you cry.
Because he,
Except for sometimes if you get pulled over, feel free. Let the tears
always
flow,
cry.
man. Yeah,
Always
right.
cry.
Right. There's a time and a place.
But he had been like going over like why our click-through rate was wrong, right? He was like, well, that wouldn't work. Like how many ads you're running and what you're budgeting for that, because that's a really optimistic click-through rate. And I'd had enough, and I go, well, that would have been really good information to know. If you would have told us that, we would have adjusted this ahead of time, because he's like basically mocking us, effectively.
Yeah.
And
he took the same approach they did with Ash.
Well,
Don't teach any of it.
But here's the thing is, he's tearing us down, telling us how terrible we're all doing.
What an
and
ass.
the client is sitting there.
right there.
And I'm just like, hey, go fuck yourself.
Right,
Like,
right.
So, fuck him. We're fucking pissed.
This kind of turned into some negativity.
Sorry.
But I will
Sorry.
but I will tell you, I taught for 20 years, and I understand that I taught elementary school. But the biggest thing the hugest problem I have with teachers who why are you teaching?
Yeah.
If your number one goal isn't to make sure that your students succeed.
Right.
And I don't care what grade you teach.
No, 100%.
That is your number one goal. Your goal is to make sure those kids succeed to the best of their ability. Not everybody can do the same thing. Not everybody can learn at the same level. Not everybody can get all A's. Not everybody, but you have to make sure you're doing your part to make sure they succeed to the best of their ability. And if you're there to just tear them down and make fun of them, mock them, and especially in front of,
right. And I don't want to say that he was like making fun of, but it was just
like you said, mocking you.
But he would say it like obviously that's incorrect because of
and
this.
how
And
would
I'm
you
like,
possibly know that if you
okay,
didn't teach
like,
you?
thanks, bud.
But
Like,
I also,
that's just horrendous, and it's so appalling to me. It makes me sick.
I also look at that and I'm like, there's a reason why you're teaching and you're not actually doing.
Well, that's true. But we've talked about this too. College professors are so out of touch with the real world because they still live in this bubble of academia, and they make statements about how it's going to be out there when you get a job, but they don't know because they're just working. They work the your typical school system year, and they just don't understand what it's like to actually work in a business. Or whatever.
Well, and like here's the thing, I work for a credit union right now, right? And I do their graphic design, and it's the best graphic design job I've had since I've graduated. I've had multiple. I've been in one's mother's basement.
We talked about the basement. Yep.
The credit union job is by far the best job of all of them. And the guy who actually is the director down at SAU over graphic
Ponytail
design,
Bob?
Okay, ponytail, if you will, who.
I didn't say his real name.
I'm okay.
So he basically he said on multiple occasions that you're not really a real graphic designer unless you work for an agency. Period.
Which
End
is
of
bullshit.
statement.
Right.
Which is bullshit.
Yeah.
Because first of all,
Businesses need graphic
ponytail,
designers.
you don't work for an agency.
You don't. Yeah. So then you're not a
are
real
the
graphic
director.
designer.
Yeah. Right. Now here's
a
the thing.
dumbass.
This guy didn't intend for this to be such a negative thing.
I know but you know what? We all have a little trauma during our college years.
Well, I will say, Ash was going to Carbondale to get her design degree, and I went to SWIC, and I was finishing up my associates, and so I was getting a whole bunch of the shit out of the way for super cheap at the community college, and then I was going to transfer down, right?
Absolutely.
Because, fun fact, if you live in Illinois, if you have an associate's degree, that is considered a gen ed waiver. You don't have to take gen eds.
If you get in
must-
Illinois and transfer to a school in
Illinois,
But
correct.
a lot
You
of
must
schools
get
even outside
associates.
state will still accept it as a
Right.
job.
So Carbondale had a thing where you graphic designers there. What is it? Your junior and your senior year, you submitted a portfolio, right?
Portfolio review.
Yep, you would submit your portfolio. The professors would look through it, and based on their looking it over, you got the go-ahead to take the more advanced courses. Now, realistically, none of it mattered. Okay.
Yeah.
Realistically, they could not bar you if you had taken the courses and you had the credits. They could not bar you from taking the other courses. I've already paid and I passed the class and I got my credits.
yeah.
I'm taking the other course. Realistically, the only thing, if you didn't pass portfolio, professors wouldn't they weren't obligated to give you a letter of recommendation.
Right.
But realistically, if you're on good terms with the professor, you'll get a recommendation anyway. Who gives a shit?
Right.
So the whole thing pissed me off and was a bit of a joke towards the end. But we take my portfolio down there to submit.
From
Swig. From SWIC. Because it was like, okay, I'm trying to transfer in. I want to kind of just go straight into the
graphic
upper
design program.
courses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And not
Done
have
your
to
gen
take
eds, yeah.
the basics. So I submit, and transfer students didn't usually submit or whatever.
Okay.
So I go down there to pick it up because you drop it off on like a Friday, and then you come back like a week later.
Oh,
and now that they've graded all
Sure,
of them.
sure.
And so I go down there with Ash, and we're with Ponytail, and he actually walks us around the campus. Do you remember this a little bit? And shows us.
Because I had said you were trying to transfer in.
Yeah.
And Kay brought, like...
Love Kay.
Love Kay.
One good teacher we had, yeah.
She
Hot damn.
hooked me up with him and was like, okay, so we'll go introduce you, all that kind of stuff. And he did that with other prospective transfers.
Right. I mean, they want you to
Sure.
transfer there.
Yeah.
They
No,
do want you to
100%.
come there.
Well, so I go to where the portfolio room is, where they have all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, he knows that I am in theory transferring.
Yeah.
Okay, so he goes through my portfolio, basically rips me a new one, and I stand there. I don't cry, and I stand there. I take the whole thing, and I go, okay, so like, what would you do to improve it? Like, because he basically just going bad, right through the whole portfolio. I was like, well, what would you do to improve it? What would be your recommendation? He goes, well, there's not really anything you do. You just have bad concepts, is what he tells me.
What an
I will never
absolute-
forget. You just have bad concepts.
What an absolute
I was
piece
like,
of shit.
okay. And he goes,
And he's wrong.
and here's the thing. He goes, so yes, you got on probation, which is not fail.
Doesn't really mean anything.
Well,
Yeah.
no. It's not a fail. It means you can take the advanced courses,
so
but
you're
you
in.
are going to have to resubmit next semester. So I had passed effectively.
This basically means he just didn't like it because you hadn't gone to school there.
Yeah.
He didn't like it because it was
Right.
from a different school.
Well, and it was set up differently than other people's because
Sure.
I had different projects than everybody else did. And
it just wasn't from Carbondale.
right. So towards the end of it, I was just like, okay, well, I think I just I said something about the fact that I was transferring, and then he was like, oh, well, I didn't like realize you're transferring. Like once you're here and you get acclimated, you'll be fine. And so then I was like, what do you mean you don't realize I'm transferring? Like we've been walking
Just went on a
around
school tour.
this
Is
whole
your
time.
head completely up your
I
ass?
just didn't understand. I was so confused. I was literally so confused. But then I find out that every other transfer student that had ever submitted portfolios failed, and the first one that actually made it onto probation.
Well, look at
So
you.
go fuck
so
yourself,
that's actually,
Ponytail.
Yeah.
But
So that's actually
I don't
really good.
I don't know this information at the time though. I just take my portfolio and I get in the car and Ashley's like, I'm so sorry. As we're like walking in the building, I was like, no, too soon. We get in the car because she had no idea that's how it's gonna go because that's never how it's gone for anybody else. They just kind of say like, okay, here's like, this looks good. This is you can improve on this, whatever. It was brutal. It was brutal.
What a dick.
We get back to the old apartment at her house. I sobbed for like 3 hours.
Oh,
I
no.
don't get out of bed for like 3 hours. I
Oh,
cry,
no.
and Ashley's like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry."
That was the weekend you also fucked your ankle up.
Oh yeah, it was really bad.
And she was in the recliner, and you guys had to come down and pick her up because
And then
she
you had to
couldn't
have
walk.
I had
surgery.
surgery.
Yeah.
But you were like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Are you not gonna transfer now?" And I like literally, as I remember this so vividly, because I was like, "You guys been crying for 3 hours," or whatever. I was like, "Oh no, I'm absolutely gonna come down here. Fuck that guy."
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. I'm
Fuck that
transferring
guy.
here on principle.
Literally, and then proceeded to graduate with flying colors. Piss off.
Honestly, I will tell you, obviously, I graduated from SIU Carbondale as well in the education department, and I felt like a monkey could get my degree.
Oh,
It was that easy, okay? And I spent such a minimal amount of time in a classroom. I was so woefully prepared.
Like in a classroom, you mean like
well, like as
with-
an actual
with-
potential
yes,
teacher,
exactly.
actual children, it was such a, this semester you spend maybe an hour this week going to a classroom, and then this next semester you might spend a little bit more time, and then you do one semester of student teaching where there's a teacher, in the room with you, and not even a full semester, it's a portion of the semester.
Right.
And then you're done and here's your degree. Then you get a job and I remember standing in front of going into my classroom and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, you're woefully unprepared.
I'm on my own. I have no idea what to do. I was like,
yeah.
this program is so terrible. Anyone could get this degree. Anyone. I'm like, I felt like it was way too easy.
Right.
Well, not even necessarily easy. Just a matter of you're going to be a teacher. You really need to learn how to be in the classroom. I can remember taking a class on discipline and then going, I don't even know how I'm supposed to do. What am I supposed to do with these kids? All the theory that you get. You get all the theory and you get this method and this method and this method. And it's like, I literally just remember being so like scared out of my mind, like I'm on my own now and I have to do this. And then I figured it out, of course.
Yeah.
And honestly, experience is your best teacher.
100%.
The more I did it, the better I got at it, and it was fine. But yeah, I was just like, what is this? And I've heard that it's much harder to get a teaching degree now, that they actually do make you spend more time in the classroom than which is good. That's a good thing.
Right. But
yeah,
it's just...
I was very unimpressed with when I went to school there. Yeah.
Yeah. But, so we had a lot of really fun times genuinely in there.
Honestly,
it just was...
Thankfully, you met... you had a good group of people.
Yeah.
You had so then not me too. It was like your fun comes from the people that you
meet.
Oh, yeah. The experiences that you have there.
I had...
And look, so you had one very good teacher,
Oh, yeah.
Thank God for her. And,
Thank
that's
God.
awesome. And I did too. I had the one that I was like, okay, this woman knows what she's doing. And,
right.
And that was that was a good experience.
And I had gone down there. It was really funny because the design bitches are probably some of our closest friends and whatnot and longest friends now. But I head down there and I'm like, I'm not here to make friends. I want to get this degree and I want to go home. I'm going to be here like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. I'm getting this degree and I'm going home kind of thing. Because I was like, I don't care. Because I already had friends, right?
I was kind of the same way when I went down there because it's like, I just want to get done.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we're down there and it's like, okay, just kidding. Like now we have the 7 whatever design bitches and whatnot that are all super good friends and still keep in touch. And I'm like, all right.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, no, it was great. It's just very funny.
Excellent.
I think I remember talking to Tay and her saying the same thing because she had also transferred from like a community college to school and she was like, I'm just here to get this degree and I'm going to be done. And then, of course, it's like, oh, just kidding. Now we're going to be friends. But no, we had a lot of really fun nights in the studio, like I said, with the donuts and...
I remember you telling me about the $5 buckets. And then you went drinking somewhere.
That was a different place. There was $5 bucket, whatever you wanted.
Any kind of mixed drink,
anything.
too.
It was like like when you go to the Mosquito Homecoming, you get those kind of buckets. It was like plastic pitchery kind. It's pitchers. That's what it was. They're like the short squat, but a pitcher of it, right?
Yeah.
$5, whatever you want. You want Bud Light? $5.
I know exactly what you're talking
Do you
about.
want
Short squat pitchers?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Do you want Bud Light? Here you go. Do you want just straight vodka? Here you go. Here's a pitcher of just that.
I mean, it's not the good vodka.
No,
I mean,
but I got a pitcher of amaretto sour.
Oh,
Oh man, what a time to be alive! Jack.
A pitcher of amaretto sour for $5. Yeah, I don't think you could get even a little drink of that for $5 anywhere.
Jack, I remember got a pitcher of vodka and Red Bull, and I'm like, are you gonna die?
Why?
Is that gonna kill? Because one of those is an upper, one of those is a downer, and you just drank a pitcher of it. I was like, are you gonna? He lived, but
he lived apparently.
But my God.
Oh my God.
All right, give me your Scoot Scoop Poop.
Well, let's save it for next time. That's okay. We told a lot of stories, so
That's true.
I can save it for next time. Actually, I can tell you this very quick funny story.
Okay.
We bought a new car.
Okay.
For your dad, and we were at the Buick dealership, and there's an app that you download onto your phone, and your car communicates apparently through this app. If any one of the engine lights comes on, you look at the app and it'll tell you exactly what's wrong with your car. Supposedly. I know. And there's other things that this app does.
Sure.
But you had to go in, so he helped your dad set up the app, and you had to name your car. Mm-hmm. So your dad bought the copper colored one, so he named it Penny.
Penny.
Okay, so which is kind of cute.
At least it wasn't silver.
So this
It'd be nickel.
that's true. He would have hated it. He hates nickels. He
hates
loves the
nickels.
pennies. So anyway, the guy tells us this story about this
dime.
woman. He told her, "What do you want to name your car?" And right away she says Greta. No hesitation, because your dad's like, I'm not sure what should I do there. You got to kind of think about it a little bit. She had did not need to think about this.
The
She
car
knew-
dealership guy is telling you the
yes.
story. Okay.
So she's gonna name her car Greta.
Greta.
And he goes, well, that was really decisive. Like, you knew. I got
I
to know
think
the
I
story
know.
behind this. And she says, it's Greta, the grocery getta. That's the name of it. That's what
Greta,
the grocery getta. And that's what she named it, Greta.
I assumed you were going for like a Greta Van Fleet because it was a van.
Gotcha. Nope.
Like a fleet of vans or something like
But
that.
isn't that fantastic?
Greta the grocery guy.
Greta the grocery
Oh
getta.
my god.
I thought that was fantastic.
Excellent.
So that was a
Excellent.
great story we heard last night.
All right. Before we close it out, do you got a joke? Because you've been hitting us with a joke there at the end.
I'm not been woefully prepared. Unprepared. I suck.
Listen, I got a joke. You ready? I found a quick one. What do mermaids use to wash their fins?
What?
Tide.
Okay.
The stunned silence is very reassuring.
We're not even sorry. No one's even laughing. I'm so sorry.
All right, Anna. Let's go. Close us out here.
I don't know about you guys, but after this, I'm gonna need some serious beef.
And some serious tide.
Bye.
Bye.